Cuba, it's me! Welcome to episode 201 of The W.I.L.L.I.W Show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. Now today I wanted to talk about being a hypocrite. Me, exactly, being a hypocrite. Yesterday on my big rant there, I was talking about how a lot of the young guys don't respect the veterans that paved the way for them. And you know what? I mean, I'm sure there's some that are like that, and I know that's not entirely true. I don't want to be the old guy that's bashing the young guys, because I know how hard it is coming in, and it does seem like they're so entitled, but maybe they're just shy. Like, I'm trying to think, hey, who am I to talk? Like, when I first came in, I did everything I was told, and that was shake hands, say nice to meet you, and then be quiet and don't say anything. So, even though I wanted to go up and say, hey, I really like you, I love what you did here and here and here, it's like I didn't want to bother this guy that I looked up to. So maybe they're just doing the same thing as me, and like I want to help the young guys. I know not a lot of them ask my advice, but maybe they're scared to, or like maybe they think I should just be telling them what to do. I don't know. Or for others, maybe I'm not saying me. I mean, there's a lot of people above me, but I just mean it's so hard being a hypocrite. But I made the same mistakes that everybody else made. I do the same things. It's like I wish I knew then what I know now, obviously, right? But like I used to go out there, and I never did that many cool moves because I'm not that athletically gifted, and I'm not very strong. So I would always think of like cool spots, like cool reversals, or like somebody had like a finisher, a way to like do it differently, or I used to always, everyone would say, well, what do you want to do with this match? I was like, as long as you let me take these two bumps. I was always about which moves I got to take. I was like, please, just do this to me. I remember the first time I met and wrestled Ruffy Silverstein. I begged him, I'm like, please, I want you to gorilla press me over the top rope to the floor on my stomach. And he's like, that's all you care about doing in the match? I was like, well, I just want to do whatever you want, sir, but please, I have all these people from my work coming to watch me wrestle for the first time. Can you just splat me right in front of them? Just so they'll be like, oh my god, like, just for that shock factor. Like, I want to land right at their feet. And he's like, so you don't have any moves you want to do? And I'm like, well, I mean, I do, but like, I don't want to offend you better. I just figured whatever you want to do out there. But please, if you could just include this move. So I was always more about which moves I got to take, which ended up working out good for the veterans because I wasn't trying to do any moves to them that they didn't want to take. I was just saying, hey, can you beat me up? And they're like, yeah, I have no problem throwing you around if that's what you want to do. But I'm just as guilty. I used to try and combine way too many moves into a match. And the old saying, if you feel like you're going slow, slow it down even more. I used to just rush through it because I was shy and scared and nervous and just wanted to get it over with. Whereas now, I'm like, dude, how many more matches are you going to have? Just enjoy it. Look around you. Take it all in. Work the crowd. Be a presence. Where back then, I couldn't do it, but I wish I did, obviously, so maybe other people learn that. And it's one of those things, it's like when you have a kid, and your mom was like, when you were a kid, your mom will tell you this and this and this and this, and you're like, I don't think that applies to me. But then you have a kid, and you're like, wow, she was right. It's the same thing. Like, a lot of wrestlers would give me advice. I was lucky because even though I was too scared to ask for advice a lot of times, there were still so many good people around me that I guess, I don't know if they liked me or they just wanted me to get better because they thought I sucked. I don't know what the case was, but I was very blessed because I got a lot of advice from a lot of really great talent and minds for the business. But a lot of it I didn't agree with at the time, and I just was like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, this is a new generation, but now it's really in the last 5 to 6 years really starting to sink in. I mean, not all of it's right because the business is constantly changing and evolving, but most of it I'm like, what was I thinking? So I don't want to be that guy that's always harping on, because I've been in that spot and I know how it feels, and a lot of it is like you want to be an equal. You don't want to be like, hey, I'm the young guy. You want to feel like an equal, and I always felt like that. Like, hey, I'm going to go out to the ring with this guy, and he may have been wrestling a lot more longer than me, but when we're done, he'll treat me as an equal. Well, what I forgot is most of the times they treated me as an equal before and after, but people always do have egos in wrestling, so it makes them feel good when you suck up to them. Especially if it's legit and it's true and you really do feel that way. It really makes people like, I've had a couple people that's like, I used to watch you wrestling. You were the youngest small guy and made me think that maybe I could do it. I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 people that have said that to me, but it really means a lot. So just try and put yourself in the young guy's shoes. And young guys, try and put yourself in the old guy's shoes. Like, you've been doing it for this long, and now the young guys are coming in and they're getting all the props, and it's like, well, what about me? I've been doing it. I helped build this fed up, or I helped pave the way when there was only 4 feds. Like, I know the argument can be made, oh, well, now wrestling is popular, so all these feds are coming out, but still, look at the guys that have been doing it in Ontario for a long time, and you gotta say, you know what, thank you, because they still have their fans that will still attend, and sometimes a wrestling fan will come just to see so-and-so that they saw wrestle 15 years ago, and they're like, oh, I remember that guy, I'll come. And then they get hooked on the new younger guys. So sometimes it's them to thank, right? So just remember, one day you're going to be the veteran, and if you're a veteran, just try and remember when you were a young guy breaking in. Let's not be so hard on them. And I always get mad, I'm like, oh, these guys aren't shaking my hand, oh, they don't want to introduce me. Well, 1, they may not even have a clue who I am. And 2, maybe they're just intimidated, like maybe they're just like, I don't want to bug the guy. Maybe they're waiting for me to come up and say, hi, nice to meet you, and then they're like, hey, I've heard good things about, like, so I can't blame everything on everybody else. Sometimes I gotta be the bigger person, the mature person. But just don't be a hypocrite. And always, I want to hear what you guys have to say on the Willow Show here. Tell me, what is something that you get mad about now that the people do that you used to do yourself? Because as always, like or you get a leg drop, comment or you get a clothesline, subscribe or you get a suplex. I'm your host, Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!